at my house for my roommate's 35th birthday.
Yeah.
And it was so weird because being one of the youngest there, like, I play the rules that we have. And I don't know if the rules are that different from age, but excuse me, maybe they are because, like, I was like, what are you guys talking about? These are such basic rules. Like, the standard just ball bounces, this happens. I'm like, what about left-hand trick shots and stuff like that? And they're like, can you play them ambidextrously? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, then they don't count as double cups. So I was like, what?
No, that's what you answered wrong. You should have said no.
I should have said
Can
no.
you play ambidextrous? No. Well, then yeah, a left-hand shot would be a trick shot. Sweet.
But I only play left-handed when I play beer pong.
The only reason I play left-handed is if trick shots include playing with your left hand, then I'm like, well, then I'm just going to throw left-handed all night because if I make anything, at least it'll be two.
Well, see, that's the problem is now, because I only play that way,
good.
I'm terrible with my right hand. My right hand's like, how do you shoot? I'm like, I don't know. Left hand, I'm like...
Last Halloween was the last time I played...
Speaking of Halloween...
beer pong, and I didn't do that good. I used to be a lot better. I've lost a lot. Most of
we're not out drinking and playing beer pong.
There are the standard rules, but then every house has its house rules.
Yeah, house rules are fine. Like, that's one thing I was saying. I was like, all right, since I lived there, but I was not the one coming up with the house rules. It was my other roommate. I'm like, all right. I don't know how you guys play, but I'll play any rule because I'm gonna win. That's my mindset.
Yeah, that's a good mindset.
So, like, I'm like, how do you play? Let's figure this out. And they listed off all these rules, and I'm just like, that's it? Like, I say all these rules, but it was really maybe like 3 to 4 rules.
Is the basic rules.
Yeah, and it was just so weird to play that way because I was like, I haven't played beer pong that way in a hot minute. Are we doing like... Is it a dog? Is it a cat? Birthing. Welcome to the show, everybody. Like wheezy.
Dude, speaking of that, the best moment in all of the original Pokemon series, like the TV show, was, I don't remember the name of the episode, but it's when James, because it's James and Jesse. When James plays, because like Jesse, I think
Jesse James.
I think so, probably. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I think Jesse plays an Arbok.
Oh, her snake.
Yeah, the Cobra one.
Yeah.
Cobra Arbok. Yeah, she plays a Cobra, an Arbok, and then it does the Arbok, and then James is like, and I play Weezing, and then Weezing comes out, he's like, Weezing! It's like, the first time was the best one, because anytime he comes up again, it's not nearly as much like, where it's like, dude, you are Weezing. Like, you're having a very hard time right now.
I like coughing too, though.
Coughing! Wee!
Yeah, but anyways, I actually got on Pokemon Go the other day.
Oh, dude, I need to.
I re-downloaded it.
I need to get on.
I may have sent you a gift. I'm not certain.
Okay.
But it's weird because now Pokemon just are at your house, right? Like, I know you could always be at home and there's Pokemon around,
but not everywhere.
Yeah.
Living closer to the city, yeah, they might pop up, but
since COVID, they changed.
They made it where they actually spawn at your houses.
Yeah. So like, I've had multiple different Pokemon pop up at my house. I'm like, oh, cool. I don't have to leave my house apparently to catch whatever.
And which defeats the purpose of the game
entirely.
Yeah.
Like, cause can't you self-isolate? Or not self-isolate, but can't you quarantine essentially still? Yeah, not self-isolate while playing Pokemon Go. Just don't go with a group of friends. You don't go on your morning run or whatever you do.
Right.
And just play.
Yeah, but the idea is if you need to be locked in your home, then you can just get them while you're in your home. Like, so if you live in New York or California.
Yeah, where they're locked.
Where it's actually locked down.
Yeah, because the rest of the United States was like, what? With lockdown?
Most of the rest, yeah.
But, anyways. So, what we were talking about outside.
Oh, we were talking outside?
Yeah, we were.
I just smoked a cigarette, man. I don't remember. You were talking to me?
Yes. I was talking to you about
one of the
annoying things.
Oh, that women do?
Yes.
Oh, I got plenty. Yeah. I'll let you go first.
No. I don't want you hitting on some crazy levels. I just want to talk about the fact that, like, women always are talking about, like, as I said, I saw something that was like these women comparing guys on flirting. Where it was like, you have the flirt who can't Or the guy who's a great conversationalist but can't flirt. And then
I think that's me.
And then you have the guy who flirts too early, so he comes off creepy and weird. And then you have the guy who's like, he's good at
That's
both.
Ghost.
Right? And I'm like,
and the guy that's good at both?
Yeah,
that's you.
And then I'm like, well, my biggest problem with it is women suck at keeping conversations. Like, if you're gonna bitch about a guy not being able to flirt with you when you want him to flirt with you, how you want him to flirt with you, because all women have their own, like, level of, like, what's acceptable, what's not. Because I've had some moments with women where I'm like, if I had said what I said to you to another chick that I was talking to, that would be super creepy and weird. But for you, it works perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. And like, so
that's why I'm better with in-person stuff and getting to know someone before I start saying things. Because when it's just like disconnected and just like a dating app,
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to
gauge.
Like,
I don't really know what to actually tell you because I don't really know you.
It's hard to gauge that and try to figure out what's the appropriate. I like to actually just have conversations. I don't care so much about flirting anymore. Like when I was younger, I used to flirt all the freaking time. I was good at it. But now I'm like, I don't want to flirt with you. I want you to have an engaging conversation. Like it's no longer a man's world, right? We want equality. Fine. Then you talk to me. You have something to say other than, well, today I walked outside and it was raining and that really ruined my day because my new dress got wet and I don't give a fuck. Like how's that entertaining?
It's really interesting how it seems like women have a lot to say about a very limited topic.
Yes, they can talk about some things.
Which I guess those limited topics would be cosmetics.
Oh, so are we going
their
to
favorite
stereotype real fast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I'm stereotyping.
Okay.
Because I'll say the exception being the women that have come on this show. Mm. Those are absolutely exceptions.
They have great conversations.
Because they can talk about
I was gonna say,
tons of different
Jimmy called me last night and we talked for about an hour. And I just basically let her talk, but she talked about a swath of things where it was just like, cool.
Yeah, it's great. I know a lot of women. I'll keep it simple though. Every woman that's been on this show.
Yes, every woman that's been.
Every guest woman we've had are the women that I'm like, you're exceptional. Yeah, where you can actually have a conversation. Where most women, it seems like there's a very minute thing that they actually want to talk about.
They just want you to get there.
But at the same time, if you start going too far with it, they disconnect.
Yeah, because like if you
you've gone too deep.
If you want to really break down what their thought process is with it, then they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how to respond. It's like I just wanted to know how you felt, how you genuinely felt about, because you brought up that you wanted me to steer towards this conversation topic. I started steering towards the conversation topic, but the base level of it is annoying to me, so let's go a little deeper. And so like, fine, I'll delve deep into it, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know. As you said, they disconnect, and it's like,
yeah.
It's like you thought nothing about this. It was just surface value, and that was it. Skin deep bullshit.
Yeah, it seems like most of the time, unless it has to do with entertainment, such as favorite actresses, actors, movies, they can talk a lot about that. It seems.
Why do they have? I would say like.
But now that I've said this, I will say there's also a lot of guys that are the same way. So maybe I'm not going to be sexist then. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's people.
Yeah.
There are certain types of people that can't go in more depth.
And like I know this being on
because as I'm talking, I'm starting to think like, well, I know this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy. That if you start going past just like real basic, well, so you have like the super surface level, and then you have a little bit deeper, and then a little bit deeper, and then once you get past that, I
will admit there's
throw up X's, and they're like, we're not talking anymore.
There's certain things where I'm like, I just don't know.
There's certain topics that I might not want to go into.
There's also that though, where like I've had conversations with my roommate.
But even if I don't know something,
talking about something, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. I still generally know what she's talking about. I just don't want to talk about it because it's weird.
Exactly. That's yeah.
And the weird being like not like creepy weird or anything like that. It's just I'm like that's to me it's just an odd conversation. I never invested anything in it because I just didn't enjoy it. It's just an odd conversation.
Yeah, or that it's like, I don't know if there's really anything I can add to this. Maybe there's somebody else you should talk to.
Yes.
And you won't necessarily use those words, but it'll just be like, okay, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Can we talk about this now?
Yeah,
can we talk about something else? This thing's pretty, have you seen this?
Exactly.
This is pretty dope.
Like, I'll change conversation topics like that. And I get like where some women do that, but like, I've had the biggest issue with like, I'll just say the people that I've been talking to lately, like, I've had some moments where one of them, she has some in-depth conversations with me. We'll talk about some pretty deep things. The other one will talk to me about just like nothing at all. Like it's all surface value based stuff. And even if I try to delve into it, she'll hit a little bit and then she'll just stop. And I'm like, this is annoying.
Like, my thing is, if I can't get to the level of talking about, I don't even want to say philosophy. It's
that's a great topic.
Because philosophy is a very specific niche.
But you're talking about you're talking about like the whole grand scope of like not just not philosophy, but let me delve into your mind. Let me see more of what you actually exponential. Exponential.
I'm bad at this. I know a lot of words, but then when I need to use them, they just...
Oh, dude, I'm terrible at that, dude. Like, they're right there at the tip of your mind, and you're like... Bring it forward, come on.
I want to talk about, if someone can't, and this is anyone, man, woman, whatever, right? If we can't get to the level of being able to talk about things that are hypothetical, I guess, would be one way. Things that are
those are the greatest conversations in my opinion.
You know, but not even hypothetical, because like I understand some people when
Theories.
it's like because if I just present you with a hypothetical question, I could see you being like, dude, it's a hypothetical question. I'm not gonna waste my time thinking about this.
I love hypotheticals, so I'll
I understand, but the people that do, I don't blame them, because I've been asked a couple hypothetical questions where I'm like, this is a dumb hypothetical question.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna answer.
So really, what you're saying is
it's not hypothetical though.
No, you're wanting someone who will dive deeper into like. I don't want to say theories, but everything is conspiracy essentially. But like in something that's deeper than just the base, because you can have your normal conversations such as 21 questions with a human being.
Yeah.
Where you're like, here's just base information. Let's spread about each other. But once we get past that moment, let's have an actual connection, an actual deeper level where we start talking about God, aliens, fucking the past. Let's talk about do you believe in pine theory? Do you believe in blah? Let's actually explore each other's universe. And see what we're thinking, and see how we feel and connect in the world.
That's not exactly what I'm trying to talk about, but yes, that's definitely hitting those corners, those basis of like. Those
I don't know if that helped you.
Because it doesn't need to get as crazy. Like I don't even need to get as crazy in like, do you believe in multiverses? We don't have to actually get that far.
Yeah, we don't. But like,
it needs to get beyond just like.
It needs to be meteor.
I like this movie.
Yeah, it needs to be meteor.
It needs to all of a sudden become like. Here's my, it's your brain. Like, here's my experience of the world. Here's my interpretation of existence, of,
then what you're wanting is,
but at the same time,
you want that person
I'm saying too in depth than what I'm actually meaning. There's that level between. There's that level between, yeah.
And like, because I do understand that level where it's like, there's just some people where I'm like, I don't want to have the deep conversation with you because based off of knowing you probably can't have that deep of a conversation with me about the crazy things that go through my head. Mm-hmm. So like, but what's in your head? I just want to know you. Yeah. That's it. I just want to know you. You don't have to go astronomically crazy with it, but just tell me who you are, and we can discuss that. Because to me, that, at least in my opinion and views, that's more entertaining than anything that I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think I wish I could remember this word I wanted to use, which I think would explain it perfectly. But it's the step beyond. Here are the things I like, but it's a step less than here's my beliefs on what reality are, right? Like there's that like in between where it's just like where it's just like here's basically my here's my whys.
Has Zach ever been on the show?
No.
Okay, so
like my whys, right? Does that make sense? Where it's like here's my whys, so it's like you might say you really like. Star Wars. We talk about that a lot. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you really like Star Wars. Can we get into the whys?
Yeah. Which is
why do you like?
Because it's how I set up.
But then there's that show. Because then you have those base answers where it's just like you actually talk about the movie itself. Where you're like, oh, this thing and that thing and this character and that thing. And it's like, okay, let's step up. Why those? That's where I'm talking about.
Let's get a little.
It's
deeper.
like so. Why do you like Han Solo?
It's just a little deeper.
Why do you like? Why do you like Han Solo? Why do you like the story arc of Luke and Darth Vader? Like. What are those reasons? And then when you can get to that point, then that's a very easy stepping stone into even a little bit deeper of a conversation
Yeah,
of like a metaphysical,
and that's something
cosmic,
right? Like you can start having. You have to make those steps though, right? Because
yeah.
At first,
yeah.
you can't just be like, "Hey, let's jump into the deep end."
Yeah.
Because then you come off crazy. It's like
yeah, you come off crazy,
yeah.
but it's also difficult for the questionee.
Yeah, to answer
that when it's like you literally walk up and say, "Hey, how you doing? How's the weather been?" And it's like, "Oh, it's been good." And it's like, okay, so if the quadratic equation is actually false, what do you think that means for the perpetual motion of the universal existentialism?
Fine.
And you get one word answers. You just get pine, or you get what you talking about, which is like a 4 or 5 word answer.
Or you get to walk away.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's insane.
And then just finger guns.
Yeah.
Finger guns and then,
Yeah.
See you tomorrow at work.
I'm glad we got to know each other, crazy person. But yeah, no, like, you're alright. And the reason I brought up Zach is because I realize he sits in the middle, at least in the friends group wise. Like, talking to him at times, I'm like, I'll ask him why, and he'll get a little deep, but he won't go too deep. And I'm like, that's interesting. Unless you get him drunk, then he'll go really deep.
That's good. We need to get him drunk one day. I'd love to go deep with Zach.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I going back to what the original thing is.
Oh, there was an original thing?
Yeah. Why do women do that? I want to actually have that answered. It's like, because...
Well, we can't ask the women that have been on the show.
No, because they're great at conversation.
Because they won't understand either. They'll be with us.
Yeah.
They'll be like, well, I don't get it either.
Exactly.
I've been wondering that.
They're like, dude, why can't you have an actual conversation?
I don't know if there's...
It's like
anyone I don't know if there's anyone you can actually ask that question that doesn't break the boundary of it, right? You couldn't ask anyone in that box to explain the box. You have to ask people that are outside of the box to explain the box.
Someone who's been in the box and
then it's not out. Yeah, that'd be the only way to get an answer, right?
Because they've seen both sides.
Yeah. Because as someone out of the box, we're like looking at the box and we're saying,
I don't think I was ever born in the box.
I don't think so either. I'm pretty sure I was born outside that box as well. You know, and I can in the right circumstances definitely come across as inside that box.
Oh yeah, no, there's moments where I've come off really just ignorant. Where it's like
I would say my main reason is just because I'm like, I don't know you well enough to step outside this box. And it's always circumstantial because there's other people that it's like, I don't know you well enough. Let's step outside this box.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. It's like there's some people where they'll ask you a question and you're like, the way they presented the question may have piqued my interest to realize that you're not in the box.
Yeah, we can talk outside the box.
Yeah, you just talk. You just ask me a question. And
or some people, it seems like they ask an outside the box question by mistake.
Yeah, and then you start
they don't even realize they
ask them something or such an answer. And they're like,
it's like, oh, you're in the box.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Because I've been there where I'm like, we're gonna have a deep moment. Here we go, blah 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 blah. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about, James? I'm like,
I'm answering your question.
I thought I was answering what you asked me, but I guess I'm not. So let me put my mind back over here and try to figure out what you actually asked me.
Yeah, communication, man. It can be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because the thing is, you're right. It's not just a guy or a woman, or it's just not a guy or a woman thing.
Yeah,
it's a people thing where it's like you can have those moments where you're like, I guess just you don't understand. Because but no, because I was gonna say even one of the most, I love him to death. But one of the most in the box people we know is Kalu, and
what? No, that guy's.
But the thing is, he can have those moments, and he does have those moments quite often, unless he's hanging out with us or people like us.
Wait, only if hanging out with us?
Yeah, because I've never...
Okay, you said unless he's hanging out. Okay, wait, okay, I get your sentence now. Yeah, you were saying he's in the box unless he's with us.
Yes, unless he's with us or people like us, therefore...
That are like, hey, why don't you step out of the box?
And then he's like, yeah,
and it's like, I'm comfortable outside the box. And it's just like most everybody I know, though, likes to be in the box.
Exactly, so that's what
I just hang out in the box.
He stays. It's like, but it's so interesting the fact that he does that, because I was going to say, well, he's the only one, but then I'm like, but no, he is intelligent enough and has moments.
Yeah, he really is.
Where I'm like, you are an absolute genius.
I absolutely
Why?
love Kalu. He's got to be back on the show. Because we've technically never released an episode with him.
Oh my god, wait, they don't know who Kalu is?
No! Isn't that terrible?
That's beautiful.
We've got to get him back.
Because then we'll only say his name when he shuts up.
Yeah. We've got to get him back so that we can actually release an episode with him. Technically, we released episodes with him on it, but those are... No, they're just hidden.
Oh.
You're going to have to dig. You're going to have to dig real deep.
I forgot that you hit
because there's an Easter egg, which I don't think I should spoil on the show. I'll just hint that there's an Easter egg that...
I kind of want you to spoil it because I don't know what the Easter egg is.
Well, I can tell you outside.
Okay.
There's an Easter egg that those that are keen of mind will have picked up on and be able to look deeper into and find what the Easter egg is. It's as simple as that. Don't try and guess. I'm not even going to try to guess.
I had another thought process just now.
Yeah, okay, what you got?
No, it's not something that I want to talk on the show about.
Okay.
But anyways, so beyond the people that I've been talking to, which is what made me start realizing that women just are terrible at keeping conversations, and that video I watched, it just pissed me off because it's like, how can you expect a guy?
Generally, women can be. I've got to help. I've got to correct you.
Yeah, you're right. It's not a sexist thing. It really isn't.
I've got to correct. I don't like correcting.
But the reason is the reason I said women in this case now though is because of the video I watched.
Oh,
which bothered me because it was like.
Should we link it?
It was a commercial.
Oh.
It was just a weird ass commercial, and I was like,
well, it's probably on YouTube.
Probably. And it just weirded me out because I'm like, they want you to be able to be really good at flirting while at the same time not being able to hold conversations. But women do want you to actually hold a conversation with them. And they get mad that, because I've seen a lot of women be
they don't want you to mansplain either, though.
No, they don't.
You got to be able to hold a conversation, but you shouldn't mansplain.
But that's the thing. Is don't we, in technicality, mansplaining wise, don't men do that to men? Isn't that our conversation?
Constantly.
Let me explain what I'm thinking and seeing and what the way I see it as.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, mansplaining is more like, okay, I need these things they're slightly off camera, but there's a couple objects here, and I'm like, I'm running into a problem where I need to divide this up into 5 objects that fit into this, a square.
Space, yeah.
I need to make a square on the table out of those 5 objects. Here's how I'm thinking to do it, and then you walk in and say, well, I mean, if you want to make it a square, it's literally you need the 4 sides and blah blah, and it's like, well, you're mansplaining. Even if I'm doing it completely wrong, it's considered mansplaining because you're a guy telling a female how to do a thing. It's a terrible, terrible concept.
I've never been accused of that.
I haven't either. I
definitely feel like I have done that.
No, dude, all the time. All the time, bro. I do it all the time. And I don't even have a tinge of regret afterwards. Because I'm like, I helped you.
Yeah, especially
if you get upset that I helped you, what does that say about you?
Yeah, that sounds like your own
You can't accept help?
It's your own prerogative, all right? Back off, do you...
Now, granted, though, I think that actually ties back a little bit into what you were saying. Because what you were talking about with, like, women wanting a certain kind of conversation, they want it to be flirtatious, not too deep, not too flirtatious, too quick. They want it to be deeper. They want you to hold the conversation. They don't want you to steal the conversation. They want to speak. But
that's so much. You're asking.
Hold on. I'm not done yet.
So much.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
They also want solutions to their problems, but they also would rather you just have empathy.
Which the thing is, as a guy. So you
gotta balance all that at once. You're juggling like 10 balls at once.
It's something that's interesting. It's like women are like, do guys even listen? And it's like we do, but I don't think a lot of guys know how to do what you're asking, especially in that realm where it's like guys having conversations with each other. You and I can probably speak more so than most guys in the sense of like, let's just have long deep conversations about whatever.
Well, that's 20-year relationships.
Exactly.
It does help. Now, there's some people that you can get there way quicker with.
Way quicker.
But at the same time, we've been having these kind of conversations for basically 20 years.
Dude, almost since... I remember us being like 12 years old, sitting in the dark as we're supposed to be going to bed, having really deep conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
That shouldn't be happening.
Exactly. So we've had deep conversations for a very long time. We've known each other for 20 years. I'm not going to say they started off because, we were like 9 at the time. So it's like, that's not really... I'm sure we didn't have deep conversations. But like you're saying, like probably about the age of 12, 13-ish, we were starting to really dive deep into some crazy conversations. Yeah. And then we've been there ever since. And we can turn it back down because it just depends on, like, since we only see each other once a month or whatever, there is still all of that, here's a month worth of surface level stuff of experience. We need to go over that because, like, I am really curious. But then we go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's why since I was at least 14, I've always thought a good conversation takes 3 hours to start. Because there's 3 hours of going over that basic
stuff. I know
stuff.
I've made fun of you even on here where I'm like, that's insane. But like, you are right because I have that mindset when I'm talking to a prospective significant other.
Yeah. So we better talk at least 3 hours and then we're going to actually break through the ice and get into this crazy
have some
ocean.
Good conversation.
We're going to get into a crazy ocean.
I will sit there.
Like, what is that creature? What is that fish? Is that seaweed? What is this? And it's like
I will have those moments where I'm like, I'll suffer through what for me, to them may be a great conversation. Who knows? But for me, it's like walking through the desert in a freaking 120
water
and just wanting water and being like, can we finally get through this?
And after a few hours, all of a sudden you'll find an oasis.
And then I'm like,
it's like, thank God.
But sometimes you don't. And then when I don't find an oasis after a moment, I'm like, bye. It's like, why did you just stop talking to me? Why did you ghost me? It's like, women ask why guys ghost them. It's like, I've had a lot of guys who I've talked to lately where they're like, yeah, if a woman can't carry a conversation, I'm just not going to have a conversation with her. Yeah. I'm like, that's how I feel entirely. And women don't understand that side of guys.
I want to double check the time real quick, but I do have something else. Like, continue, sorry.
They're like, yeah, women don't understand that side of guys, where guys don't understand the side that they need to have, that women need to have those small conversations, as well as the in-depth and lovey-dovey, feely, whatever nonsense conversations, where guys were like, oh, we want to have those lovey-dovey conversations. Can it be more than just, oh, I love you, blah, 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 nonsense or bullshit. It's like, let's actually get into some feels.
And more than just, this happened at work, this person did this thing, that thing happened.
He's not interested in what I want. I've heard that actually from women. They're like, he's not interested in what I want. And it's like, and what's going on in my life? And it's like, well, what's going on in your life? And I'll ask, and they'll start telling me. I'm like, that's why.
That's why.
That's why he's not interested. What the hell are you talking about?
You're talking about other people.
Yeah,
that's not what's happening in your life. That's other people.
That he doesn't know, probably doesn't care about. You've probably mentioned Karen like 10 times, and he's like, who the fuck is Karen? And she's like, I told you, honey, Karen is blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't care about Karen. I want to know you. Why were you upset today? Well, I was upset because blah, blah, blah. That's not an actual reason. That's just an excuse behind the reason. Like, generally, it's like, were you upset?
Oh, right. I get what you're saying. That is the surface level reason.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right, because even myself, I catch myself, and maybe it is a guy thing. Maybe you do this too. Maybe. Where it's like, I actually learned this from women though. Okay. I learned this from a really, really smart woman when I worked at Chipotle in South Carolina, where I was really going through some anger issues. Yeah. Right? Because I mean, I have anger issues too. We both
I've had to fight that and deal with it.
And I got some great advice from a woman, where she said, next time you get mad, sit down and write down all of the reasons you're mad. And she was like, from there, you'll probably get an actual reason why you're mad. And so I did that a few times, and I realized that it's like, I might say, I'm mad because this thing happened, I'm mad because that thing happened, and then I look at it all, though, and there's a theme. And then I can actually dig down into what that theme is, and what the actual thing that made me mad, and it actually could, a lot of times, it doesn't even turn out that it's these things.
It's just,
it's this other
underlying thing over here. That's
yeah.
Because
and that helps so much. That helped me with my anger so much.
I didn't write, but I had to get to that level with, like, as I started practicing Zen and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, okay, there's moments where I realized, I still do it now to this day, but because of the way that I started working on myself earlier on, little things, if they don't work, piss me off. Like, big things cannot work, and it won't affect me whatsoever. Don't care. Little things. So, like, something that I know I should be able to just do, if it's not working, literally immediately just frustrates me.
Yeah.
Like, it takes 0.2 seconds, and I'm just like, oh my god.
This guy is the same way. Exactly.
And, like, so that's where I'm like, I started having to delve into myself. And
that's why I'm so angry with video games, man. That's why I'm so angry with video games, because once I show my own self that it's like, I can do this thing, and then the next time it happens, I don't do it, I'm like, whoa, I know that I'm better than this. But that's the thing. And then I'm mad at me. I'm not mad at the guy, I'm mad at me. You're mad at yourself.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's the underlying issue. Is like, but the underlying issue actually comes down to, why are you mad at yourself? What along the way?
Because I'm a failure.
Exactly. You have to start looking at your own thought process, which is like, why do I think this way? Why am I? And then delve deeper into it.
Training your way out of it is a process. It is a hard thing. I'm not even there yet. I'm not even there yet. But I've gone 1 or 2 levels up.
Oh, dude.
You know? I'm a lot better than I used to be, but I'm still not there.
One of the reasons I realized I may have to quit this job the way I'm trying to do anyways is mainly because, like, I've kept such control on my level of anger over small things. And, like, because I know why my issue is with them, I just don't deal with it. And, like, at work, like, I've been becoming more frustrated because, like,
the hardest thing ever,
little things just start ticking at me. I'm like,
I know exactly what you mean. So this is what I want to say based on that, because, like, I know exactly what you mean, these tiny little things. My problem that I'm still working on, I've gotten a lot better. I'm so much better than this, is that I hold everyone to the standard I hold myself to.
Yep.
And so I've started to let that go and be like, no, I only hold myself. I have no control over anybody else.
No one else.
Blah, blah, blah. Because that's completely true. You can never control anyone else ever. And so thankfully, I'd say these last 4.5, 5 years have been really good. Moving away from that and, like, moving into, like, I can only control myself. There's no controlling anything else. But it's still, I get frustrated still. When I go into a situation, I'm like, well, none of this makes sense. Why would you do this?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the only reason I think that is because I know how I would do it, and this person isn't me.
Yeah.
So I have to try to remove that from it.
And, like, maybe their mindset actually made sense.
Yeah.
But, like,
exactly.
But to me, I don't see that thought process.
Exactly. And it probably did make sense. And that's why when I ask a couple questions, you know, if I take the time to just ask a couple questions about the situation, I can be like,
dude,
I see exactly what you're saying.
That calms me down. If I get super pissed about something that someone else is doing, and I'm like, let me just ask you why. I just want to know why, because once I know why, I may not be as mad.
And that's what when I was working at Chipotle, my favorite of all time of any company I've worked for, Chipotle had the best training.
Okay.
It had the absolute best training philosophy. Now, this doesn't mean, for anybody out there that has worked at Chipotle, is going to work at Chipotle, doesn't mean every Chipotle actually follows through with what the books say. But I worked at an office, at a station, restaurant, franchise branch that did. They followed it by the book. And I was like, this is some of the best training ever, because they teach all of their managers and all of their employees. They literally, everything an employee knows, like, they train their employees to be managers.
That's a good idea.
Right? Okay. So, but what I mean, like, it is a great idea. But the thing I'm pointing out the most is that they focus so hardcore on why. That it's like, if you ever tell someone, do this thing, don't tell them do this thing. Say, here's why I need this thing done.
Yeah.
Because if you tell the employee, here's why, if you tell an individual, here's why this needs to happen, they're way more accepting of it than you just saying, go wash the lettuce.
Yeah.
It's like, what the crap? I mean, I'm children of blood, isn't that? Like, why would I need to do that? I'm your boss. Go wash the lettuce. And you're like way less wanting to do the thing.
Yeah, because I'm just